Chainsaw Man is a story that carefully balances unorthodox situations and crippling despair with the day-to-day events we humans ordinarily face. Denji is a professional devil hunter who enjoys ripping his enemies to shreds. Yet at the same time, he's a kid who's come from a broken home, with extremely low standards for what he wants and needs in life. He just wants simple stuff that many of us would take for granted. To eat good food, to find a beautiful woman, to protect his friends, to have sex. Contrasting those desires, however, are the unique conditions that many of the characters have to suffer through. This is a job where the only individuals who make it far are either insane or have nothing left to lose. For many of the devil hunters, their desires are secondary to their need for survival. The oppressive nature of the job is what leads many to give up on themselves, despite the potential they have. Like flowers, humans stand tall and with grace, yet inevitably will come to an end. In the case of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto perfectly encapsulates the idea of a beautiful soul dying with one of the story's most interesting characters, Himeno. Facing the possibility of death on a daily basis, Himeno's experience with her job denied her the privilege of having a somewhat normal life. She initially joined the organization with a spark of high aspirations in her soul and plans to destroy the Gun Devil, no matter how dangerous of a task that may be. Though as time went on, the crushing reality of the situation made her realize just how impossible of a goal that really was. Himeno was constantly exposed to death throughout her career, with the burden of her deceased colleagues weighing heavily on her morale. The reason for this is that while Himeno is experienced in her job, she was never truly as insane as the job requires. Himeno wants a carefree life more than anyone, but is confined to a job that has taught her that life is fleeting. She doesn't sit right with this on some level, struggling with the limitation of having to live every day as if it were her last. This lifestyle comes at the cost of her responsibility on some level, as she feels her career choice absolves her from anything resembling restraint any longer. While she's ultimately glad nothing transpired between her and Denji, she was close to having sex with him in a drunken state, and unintentionally ruined his chance of enjoying his first kiss in a rather disgusting incident. These are a few examples revealing her lack of self-control, and there are many others. Although she can be irresponsible, there's nothing resembling malice behind any of Himeno's actions. She is a person who wants to make a positive impact on others, even if it comes at the cost of her dignity on some level. And when it comes to Himeno's favorite man in the world, it's the one relationship she has that she takes seriously. Himeno fell in love with Aki Hayakawa for one reason and one reason only. She made a positive impact on him. When Aki first joined, he was a traumatized introvert that needed guidance, and when Kishibe gave him Himeno as a partner, he started to look up to her as a mentor in many ways, picking up her habit of smoking, as well as changing his appearance to match her suggestions. While Himeno was attached to her past colleagues, Aki was different. He enjoyed her company, and made her feel like she was worth something. He made her happy. But this attachment to Aki came with one big problem. Aki had the same aspirations as her, to slay the Gun Devil. But unlike her, he wasn't going to give up on his goal. Once Himeno realized this, it changed everything. She knew that Aki was too good of a person to end up like the average devil hunter, as just another statistic that ultimately won't make an impact, just like her partners, just like herself.
アキの野郎、本気で肉片集めてるだろう。あいつはそのうち10野郎にたどり着くぞ。
嫌だ。
Every single conversation she had with Aki from this point forward had an underlying goal of getting him to eventually leave the Devil Hunter business. But his determination wasn't going to allow him to stop. Ever. Aki was the beacon of hope that Himeno needed. So when he puts himself in dangerous situations time and time again, it is the one time where her flirtatious facade would drop to reveal the scared, broken, yet caring person underneath. Since Aki cares about her, she cares for him like no other. So much so that when she sacrifices herself to save him, Aki does the exact thing she wanted him to do and cries his eyes out at her death. When put in a situation where she very well can join her colleagues, all Himeno can think about is protecting the one she loves from being snuffed out too quickly. As long as Aki lives, there is something to live for, and in the moment where she knew she'd be dead soon, Himeno prioritized her reason for continuing on in the first place. She saved the life of the one person who would cry for her and remember her.
アキ君は死なないでね。私が死んだ時さ。泣いてほしいから。ヘビ、丸飲み。
Aki doesn't take this sacrifice lightly, of course, and after he cries over the loss, he is able to avenge her in the best way possible. Kicking the man who killed her in the balls, and making him suffer excruciating pain for the beautiful flower that he destroyed.
Himeno senpai, 天国まで聞こえるか?
Himeno serves as a microcosm of everything great about Chainsaw Man put into one character. The humor, the layers to the eccentricity, the sex appeal, and finally the darkness that it all eventually leads to. As you can probably tell, death is synonymous with her character in many ways. Himeno has a contract with the Ghost Devil, and it's covered in daisies that sprout from its torso. In many ways, when Himeno dies, the real nature of Chainsaw Man is revealed to the audience. It's the first time the story presents the underlying darkness that's slowly being built up, right for the audience to see. Things could have been different, as many other stories would keep a character like Himeno around to continue the plot lines that Fujimoto seemingly introduced. But this is not the kind of story that Chainsaw Man is. It sets up the unpredictable brutality of the story excellently, and contributes to the somewhat oppressive atmosphere of the work. Death can sometimes come out of nowhere, and catch you off guard in the worst possible way. This is the exact thing Himeno is supposed to represent as a character, and her absence leaves an impact on the narrative that can never be replaced. But at least someone avenged her, and will remember her, just like she wanted.
「